There's some heroes in this game.
Here in the first, Garnett baseline for two. And we are tied at 8. Game 3 of the series between the Seattle Sonics and the Minnesota Timberwolves, the surprising Minnesota Timberwolves.
And this game has been just what they've wanted so far, and I'm talking Minnesota. They've done a wonderful job of mixing up their offense again. Mitchell started out the game knocking down one from behind the three-point line, and that got him off and running. Garnett has 2 blocks already in this game.
And we'd like to welcome everyone joining us here at the Target Center. The Knicks falling to the Heat tonight, game 2 of our doubleheader here on TBS. Detlef Schrempf at the line, and he knocks down the free throw, his first point. All 5 of the Seattle starters have now scored.
Gerald Carl, after going through the first game with his team doing everything they were supposed to do, got totally knocked off balance with the small ball lineup that Flip Saunders threw at him, and now he is trying to find an answer for that.
Sonics the 2.10-8 lead, and each of the starters has 2. Marbury thought about the deep 3, gives it up to Porter. They swing it now. Mitchell looking inside, skips it instead to Peeler. Garnett, that little turnaround.
One thing about Seattle and their defense, they have no problem having Gary Payton down on the low post guarding one of the bigger players. But Garnett's going to turn and shoot on him. The other thing that happens when they switch like that, it takes Seattle's big people out of the rebounding picture, and they've struggled there all year. The worst rebounding team in the NBA.
Schrempf inside. Baker, nice. Quick move that time. Yeah,
that's what he has to do, because in game 2, particularly late in that game when they needed points from Ben Baker, he was very tentative because he waited and waited for the double team to come.
4.5 minutes gone here in the first. Garnett sets a little screen outside, then gets it on the roll from Peeler. Trying to take Baker baseline, comes up on the other side, stuffed by Kersey and picked off the floor by Baker. Payton, a good look ahead. Hawkins to Schrempf for 2.
Nice. I think with the emotion of this game for Minnesota, coming into this ball game, it has affected Kevin Garnett as much as any other player in the white jerseys. His first shot was an air ball, way long, and that just gives you an indication he's having too much energy right now and needs to calm down some.
Peeler off to the quick start, though, as he hit his first 2. He's got 5. And the Wolves are back to within a deuce as Flip Saunders paces the sideline.
Well, Flip knows he's going to need some points from Anthony Peeler. Peeler has played some great basketball without even scoring. He's making them tonight.
Funny little rotation on that shot from Gary Payton, but it goes down. Seattle 7 of 10 here in the early going, Jack.
They mixed it up, and that's what they did in game 1. Everyone has touched the basketball. Game 2, Gary Payton came out, took about the first 5 shots of the game, 3 of those behind the three-point line.
Peeler back ribs that one, and it's all Seattle on the glass. Kersey coming away with the rebound, but all green shirts under the basket. Hawkins looking for Baker. That seems to be the first option. Payton into the paint, kind of a tough flow to try to bank it on, and Mitchell is there. Picked off by Hawkins, 2-on-1 break, and Hawk gets 2 off the feed from Payton.
Well, one thing the smaller lineup for Minnesota has done, it's given them more quickness, but once again, it also has made it difficult at times for them to match up on the inside, and Flip Saunders here tonight is going to have to match up against the Sonics.
So the T-Wolves are the first to call time. It's 18-12, Seattle.
Seattle had to come to this game more defensive-minded than they were in game 2, and it is certainly showing as you see Hersey Hawkins step in front of the pass, and then they convert pretty regularly on these extra opportunities their defense gives them. Both teams shooting the ball extremely well here early. Seattle 8 for 12, Minnesota 5 for 9, but you see what Seattle's defense has done, and a lot of extra possessions makes it very difficult for Minnesota.
Sonics already have had a couple of runs in this game. 1-8-2 run. They're in the midst of that one right now. They had an 8-0 run earlier. Here goes Marbury to the hole. Next stick. Oh, won't stay. Picked off by Kersey.
Well, tough break there because Marbury's going to have to continue to break down Gary Payton. That was a huge factor in game 2.
Baker again with a quick release inside, and he gets 2 more.
He cannot be aggressive enough in pursuing opportunities to score. He has to continue to turn and turn quickly and look for those opportunities.
He's a perfect 3 for 3 so far tonight. Largest lead of the night belongs to the Sonics. It's 8 with about 5:15 left to go here in the first as Marbury looks to break down Hawkins off the dribble. The double comes from Payton. They swing it to Garnett. He wanted to go to the corner. Goes to the lane instead, but stripped. And it's a 24-second violation.
But once again, I think you see Kevin Garnett just not quite himself yet. And maybe it's going to take this first period for him to really calm down, because he's normally, after catching the ball at the top of the key, would have tried to create something off the dribble.
Well, the Sonics have won one battle here so far. They have taken the crowd out of this game. Baker, the kick this time is Schrempf.
Nice.
Schrempf, a lot of room, and he sticks the jump shot.
Funny what making shots will do for you, won't it? Game 2, Seattle couldn't buy one from the outside, and Minnesota had that problem in Game 1. And Seattle's knocking them down here early.
The run is now 12-2 for the Sonics. Wolves go right back to Garnett. He and Peeler, a little two-man game, and they're going to get Baker with the over-the-back call. That's the first on the Sonics 7+ minutes into the game.
Well, it's funny how different series are called differently. If it was that little contact in that New York-Miami series, I think the officials would have applauded and said, guys, please give me that all game. But for here tonight in this game, that deserved the whistle.
They've had only 2 fouls in nearly 8 minutes. Porter will try. Terry Porter with 21 in Game 2.
Porter's such a leader. I mean, he is one of the few guys on this team with playoff experience. That's one reason why he was inserted into that starting lineup.
Schrempf misses this time, and Porter is there for the rebound. He's got Peeler with him on the break. Marbury trying to come to the ball. Porter keeps the dribble alive.
Porter played all those years with Jerome Kersey, who is guarding him right now in Portland, so that has been a fun matchup in this series.
Here's Peeler, the quick shot from the corner. Another rebound to Kersey.
Both of these teams rely heavily on the three-point shot. They're more difficult to make during the playoffs because teams extend their defense, and you've seen that here.
Hawkins along the baseline kicks it. They swing it. Payton with time. Nice little ball fake. Gets a little closer and got fouled as he took the jump shot. Kevin Garnett didn't particularly like the call, but he picks up his first.
Kind of a cheap foul, Kevin Garnett. Didn't really extend. And one thing about Garnett, he normally does a great job of keeping out of foul trouble. He played Game 2 of this series with 4 fouls from the 11-minute mark of the third period. Had to play the rest of the game with 4. He was very smart, and he did not foul out of the ball game.
Both coaches going to the bench. Hammonds is checking in, and Sam Mitchell will sit down. Sam Perkins is into the game also for the first time, and so is Dale Ellis.
Ellis and Perkins didn't play in the second half of Game 2. Neither guy very happy. One thing with veteran teams, veteran players, they have a way of dropping the lines in the paper.
Yes.
That only the coach can pick up on, and both of those guys had something to say towards George Karl after Game 2.
And George got the message. Garnett, little jump stop, and he banks it home.
Easy shots for Garnett when he's struggling as he has so far in this game will be important. Good job putting the ball on the floor.
Timberwolves hanging around here, down 6 off the quick start by the Sonics. Payton. Ellis will come up firing. Back rims the 3, and Schrempf took the rebound over the top of the short Porter, and he knocks it down.
Funny how Detlef gets overlooked so often when you talk about the Seattle team. You look at all the headlines, and they're talking about Payton, they're talking about Ben Baker, and it's Detlef who continues game in and game out to give them numbers in every category.
Double-double last game. He's got 8 already in this one. Porter, little fake to get Schrempf moving, then the left-handed layup over the top. That's going to be a pushing foul on Hammonds. And we're going to get a timeout. The Sonics getting the start they wanted. They lead by 8. made about how loud this building would be tonight, and it probably will get pretty loud before we're through, but the Sonics have taken the crowd out of this early with a quick start and lead 25-17 with 2:15 still to play here in the first half.
Seattle approached game 2 as though they knew they could win that ball game with a spurt in the second half, and they didn't come out with the urgency they came out with in game 1, and tonight you see that once again. You come in, you get 25 points with 2:15 left from your team, and George Karl breathing a whole lot easier. I know he understands his team as well as anyone, and I asked George, I said, were you surprised the guys didn't come out with the same emotion they had in game 1? And he said yes. He thought the second half was Seattle basketball, but by that time Minnesota had a lot of confidence, and it didn't matter how Seattle played.
Sonics shooting 65% so far here tonight with no turnovers. That is efficient basketball. Peeler is out defensively there on Ellis. Schrempp trying to take advantage of the size, kicks it to Perkins, top of the key. Payton fakes the three, and Porter just bumped him off, and Payton takes a long three and bangs it home.
George Karl was screaming at Ronnie Nunn because he didn't call the foul. I have never seen reaction change as quickly as it did when that shot went through the basket.
Seattle's largest lead is 11. Garnett gets doubled, kicks it out. Marbury will try to answer with a three of his own.
Gets it right back.
First points for Stefan. You said you watched him when he came out tonight. He was really pumped when he hit the floor.
He was raising the roof when he came out of the tunnel. And I said, calm down, Stefan. Calm down a little bit. And he has really played superbly here tonight.
T-Wolves are 4 of 5 shooting the three, and that's keeping them in the game right now. Lazy pass there by Payton, and it's picked off by Marbury.
It really was right at the feet of Ben Baker.
Marbury, the dish. Porter, short with it. Schrempp looking to push. It's got Payton ahead of the field, and Schrempp did a little tap dance there at half court. That's what got the crowd's attention. Perkins, rebound to Hammonds.
So both of these teams let the three-point shot fly. And that's the way they played, so you don't expect that to change.
So saying. That was just a two. But
that was a two, but the quickness of the shots. That's one reason why Seattle has been the worst rebounding team in the league. They don't get many offensive rebounds.
Well, we mentioned in game 2, and we talked to Flip Saunders earlier today, he wants this game in the hundreds. He feels that's where his team has a shot to win. He doesn't think they can win a game that's played in the 80s. Payton, along with that one, had to try to beat the shot clock. And now the Timberwolves faithful are getting in the game.
And Ben Baker picks up another foul on that play.
That's 2.
It's his second foul. Well, that was excellent defense. Stephon Marbury has been the #1 guy at doubling down on the big people. I think that's another reason why Ben Baker needs to stay aggressive and take the ball onto the basket. Marbury is the only way he's going to be a factor in that double team is when Ben Baker puts the ball on the floor. If he turns to the middle, takes the shot, Marbury can do nothing.
Baker and Schrempp have both gone to the bench. That's 14 points sitting down here as Michael Williams into the game, looking for the final shot of the first. Left-handed leaner won't go, but Williams, the veteran, is going to get himself to the line.
Well, it is still amazing to me that Flip Saunders all of a sudden sees something in Michael Williams that makes him the first guard coming off the bench. Williams had not played but 6 games all year long, 25 games all year long, averaging 6 minutes a ball game. And before this year, you really had to go back to 1995 to see when he was a factor.
Absolutely.
But he's
getting 10 games in the previous 3 years.
Sure, he's getting some key minutes now. I think what he brings to the floor, night in and night out, is a guy that can defend, a guy that is not going to back down from anyone. And at this time of the year, you need those kind of players.
Kersey, Jerome made that interesting. But the T-Wolves have taken a shot from the Sonics, and they have gotten up again. We have played 1 here at the Target Center. It's 28-24 Seattle. Seattle's got a 4-point lead as we're about to start the second. Let's check in for the first time tonight with Mark Stumoff. Mark.
Mike, I thought it very interesting. Remember Coach Flip Saunders of Minnesota mentioning that the 2 times they won at Seattle, a motorcycle was brought onto the floor. Once it was a Christmas present for George Karl, and another time it was brought on by the mascot, Squatch. Well, what did you think when coming from the ceiling and rappelling was Jesse the Body Ventura to sort of make fun of the Sonics right before the tip? You think they took note of that?
We will see whether or not the body is a factor here tonight.
Oh, Mark has been difficult to live with the last couple of games, last couple of days. After the last game, Kevin Garnett called him dog. And after we explained to him that was a good thing, he has been a different man the last couple of days.
And he is the dog, and always will be to us. There's Kersey outside. Kersey is out there with Ellis, McMillan, Perkins, and Payton. And Kersey has been hitting that shot.
Both teams shot the ball extremely well in the first half. First period, 57% for Seattle, 53% for Minnesota. So neither team defensively getting the job done.
Williams really almost threw it in. He took McMillan right to the baseline, able to pick up the foul on the veteran.
You'll see the baseline move by Williams right here. Nate McMillan has been hurt all season long. Has been able to give Seattle some pretty decent minutes now, but a very smart play by Williams to challenge him to see if those knees are going to be able to deal with his quickness so far in this game.
Michael Williams, really one of the great free throw shooters in this game. This is the first. You can see our game summary. Great shooting by both sides. The threes in favor of the Timberwolves. Seattle, of course, the best three-point shooting team in the NBA.
Seattle out-rebounded Minnesota 9-5 in that first period. Seattle is going to have to continue to be aware of that statistic all game long. They don't win when they don't rebound well.
Williams did a good job staying with Payton there. Now Payton gets it back with 8 on the shot clock. Gives it up. Kersey long with the jumper that time, and Porter's able to come away.
Seattle's guards have been huge on the boards.
Porter straight away thought about the three. Perkins jumped out on him. They go inside instead. Hammonds back out. Swing it to Williams. Garnett wanted it inside. Williams did a finger roll.
Yeah. Williams is making Flip Saunders look like a genius.
A quick 5 for Michael Williams off the bench, and it's a three-point game, 30-27. A little pull-up.
Maybe a double foul on the inside, maybe, I'm not sure, but count the bucket, and we'll see what happens with the action away from the basketball. Yeah, give Michael Williams a foul, give Gary Payton a foul. You'll see the action. There it is under the basket. And that's a good call because you have two guys there that are very emotional.
Jesse the Body would have been proud of that move there by Gary Payton.
I was looking for the takedown. I didn't see the takedown, so I don't know exactly what the end of that play was, but with that action, I think he's happy.
5-point game. Garnett turns on Perkins, takes the jumper long with it. Rebound taken off the floor by Payton.
You know, I think shot selection in this game is more important for Minnesota than it is for Seattle. They have to really be aware of where their shots are coming from.
Kersey, everything but the finish. Mitchell back inside. Garnett had a good spot and missed it over the top of Ellis.
I do like the shots Kevin Garnett is getting, though.
Payton takes it into traffic too hard off the glass, and Joe Crawford with the call from half court. Coming up later on tonight on TNT, it's Portland hosting LA in Game 3 of that series. Game time will be about 10:30 Eastern on our sister station. That, of course, is TNT. We've got a 5-point game here with 9:28 to go first half. We'll be back. Gary Payton spent perhaps the first 60 seconds of that timeout in a debate with Joe Crawford, wanting to know why was it a foul, the double foul called underneath Payton and Williams. Greg Anthony now has checked into the game, and Payton is still working the other official now, Ronnie Nunn.
Well, neither one of those guys blew the whistle. It was Tom Washington that blew the whistle, and I think it was the proper call. So I don't think Gary's getting a very listening ear right now.
Williams stays out there at the point for the T-Wolves with Peeler, Mitchell, Marbury also in. Hammond's trying to keep the rebound alive, and Kersey gets it home.
Real nice there, and once again, Seattle's going to have to get some second shots in this game.
6 for Jerome Kersey here, and 7 is the lead as we go under 9 minutes in the first half.
Tell you what, they've done a great job of taking this crowd out of the game.
Oh, big time. Mitchell, in and out.
Once again, shot selection, because Seattle loves to run. You take a bad shot, they get the long rebound, and they're off and running.
Perkins skips it out to Ellis. They find Anthony top of the key. Back to Ellis. Couldn't make a good catch. The pass was low from Anthony.
A couple bad passes, and it's hard to get good shots when you don't make a good pass out of the double team.
4 on the shot clock. Anthony realizes it, goes to the basket, gets stripped, and here comes Peeler. Peeler looking ahead, bounce pass, and not a very good one. Good save, though, underneath on the baseline by Stephon Marbury, and the T-Wolves will keep possession.
They must continue to make little plays like that, hustle plays. They have to win the hustle points in this game. Now, I know it's their building. I know they're coming off a win, but Seattle is still favored.
Well, here's some accidental offense in this particular set. They're down to 7 on the shot clock. It comes to Williams. They find Peeler. He's got time. Wow. 8 for Peeler. 4 now the lead.
Good time for Peeler to heat up.
Perkins spins into the lane, and Hammonds is called, and he doesn't like it.
Well, that's one of the few times we haven't seen a double team when they've caught the ball on the low post. I know Perkins is not going to get the same kind of attention Vin Baker does when he's on the low post, but Perkins, a pretty decent player with his back to the basket, does a good job on this possession of drawing the foul.
I was just thinking George Karl was trying to buy a lot of time here with Baker, Payton, and Schrempf all on the bench, and now Detlef is going to come back into the game, and Ellis will sit down.
As long as George keeps the lead, he can afford to leave those guys over there just a little bit longer. I think it's important for George, though, to get Vin Baker back in the game pretty quickly. Vin has 2 fouls, but he still has not been the Vin Baker we saw in game 1. Too much time over on the bench thinking about the mistakes he's made so far in this game. Maybe not a good thing.
Marbury gets it across. Mitchell wants to come and set a little screen, does. Stephon goes the other way, pulls up, and buries the jump shot.
Real nice. You know, normally he's going to take that all the way to the basket, but he's getting more and more confidence in his jump shot. Well, that's a huge play right there.
Inside Perkins.
Well, there's a little bit of double team coming there.
Anthony long with it from the corner. Schrempf in a battle, and Schrempf, I believe, is going to get the foul, is he? No, it's going the other way on Mitchell.
Well, you'll see. Here's Marbury here. Now, because he is so good at taking the ball onto the basket, you know you have to get out there and challenge him. But instead of taking it to the hole, he pulls up, shoots a jump shot. Well, that makes him so much more dangerous.
Inside Perkins again, getting pushed by Hammonds. Sam into the wing for 2.
You better get a double team back there, because if you leave him one-on-one with a smaller player, he is going to score one way or the other, either by drawing the foul or that nice little hook he made that time.
Sonics have been flirting with this 5-7 point lead for a while. Peeler, hot tonight, buries that one.
The Sonics now thinking we have to extend the defense. We have to take that 3-point shot away.
Minnesota 6 for 8 shooting the 3. And they're back to within 2, and the crowd is back in the game.
What a time for Peeler to heat up.
Mitchell off the air ball. Reach and foul is going against either Schrempf or Anthony. Let's see. Anthony. We are going to get a timeout, and they have come alive here in Minnesota. It's a 2-point game.
You know, every team has superstars. And a lot of times it's a supporting cast that determines which team wins the ball game. And for Minnesota in game 2, they got good play from 3 people: Porter, Peeler, and Sam Mitchell. Good numbers. Peeler didn't shoot the ball well in game 2, game 1 either, but he has had double-figure rebounds every game. Here tonight, Peeler leading the way with 11 points. He has a couple of assists as well.
And those three have combined for 19 of the 35. Marbury into the paint, and he got fouled.
I think what we have here in this game, you had Seattle coming out early, trying to deliver the knockout punch immediately. I think what we have right now, Minnesota has done a great job of burning off that extra energy from the emotion of playing here in this building. And now they have answered that punch, and they have stolen away the momentum. They're right back in this ball game.
You know, usually, Jack, it's the visiting team that's trying to survive the first 5 minutes with the home team. It was the opposite here tonight.
I think you have to continue to point out that Seattle is still favored in this series. I mean, if you ask anyone right now, I think they'll tell you Seattle's going to ultimately win this thing. So for Minnesota, they have to continue to play like the underdog. That means more energy. That means quicker to the loose balls. That means diving on the floor for the loose ones. Everything you have to do to get yourself points.
Kevin Garnett is going to come back into the game. Sam Perkins is headed to the Seattle bench.
Well, they have Vin Baker back.
Yep.
And Vin needs some touches immediately on that other end.
Marbury, deep three. Back rimmed it, but Williams is there to track down the rebound.
Long shots mean long rebounds, and that means your guards have to be a factor, and that's why Minnesota has done such a great job rebounding the basketball.
Williams throws it away, and then Mitchell has to commit the foul to stop the fast break, and Sam picks up his second. You mentioned Stefan earlier trying to raise the roof when he walked in here tonight. He was trying to raise the roof with that three he just attempted.
And it would have. I think the crowd would have exploded. But once again, shot selection for Minnesota more important than that for Seattle. Seattle is used to playing the helter-skelter game, and you don't want Seattle to get the long rebounds and to get out in their transition game. That's where they get a lot of their points.
Sonics have Anthony, Hawkins, Baker, Kersey, and Schrempf on the floor. It's Garnett, Marbury, Mitchell, Porter, and Peeler.
Have to give Ben some touches quickly.
The double, Baker kicks it right back out. Schrempf, nothing doing with the three. Here comes Porter the other way. Seattle, once again, the best three-point shooting team in the league, but not so tonight. Porter, yes, and he'll go to the line.
No question right now which team has the highest energy. No doubt about it, it's Minnesota. Watch the pressure. They keep on the Sonics defense because of their ability with the smaller lineup to have guys on the floor at every position that can handle the basketball.
For the first time since it was 3-2, the Timberwolves have the lead at 38-37. Gary Payton back into the game. 5:32 left to go here first half.
Well, another real factor is the spreading of the floor by Minnesota. Seattle's defense thrives on double team, but because they have kept the floor spread, the double teams cannot come.
An impressive offensive burst for the Timberwolves. Payton looking for a shot, goes to Schrempf. Can't get it to Baker. That's where they want to go. He's battling with Garnett. They find him. Baker trying to spin on the baseline, and he lost it.
Now, Vin Baker playing in his first ever playoff series. There's a huge difference playing at home as opposed to playing on the road. Now, not only do you have to deal with the double teams that are coming every time you touch the ball, you have to deal with the crowd that is on your case as well.
Garnett turns on Baker. Little jump stop. Rebound Schrempf.
Still, I like the shots Garnett is getting.
Porter, nice there to cut off Hawkins, but they get it inside. Rejected by Garnett. Porter spins into the full court. To Marbury. Wants it. Rebound battle, and Peeler comes away with it.
And it's so hard to teach guys how to rebound. Rebounding it's one of those things you can talk to guys about all you want. But if they don't want to do it, they're not going to be good rebounders.
There was a great little one-on-one battle there between Payton and Marbury, top of the key. Payton was shaking his head at Marbury, and as you can see, tempers are starting to flare a little bit here.
Kevin Garnett, you know, he hasn't made some of those shots, but you still get good feeling for yourself when you take the shots you know you've made all year long. He's within his game, and he comes down on the other end of the floor, makes a huge block, and once again, that leads to good things that you know are going to happen for you.
Percy Hawkins called for his second personal foul, 12 points now for Anthony Peeler.
Well, this guy buried deep in the bench in Vancouver. Could not get minutes, could not get activated to play. They made the trade that brought him here and revitalized his whole career.
Shrimp backing his way in.
Tough shot. Hard to block that one when a guy 6'11" is shooting the fall away.
10 points for Shrimp. Marbury leaves it for Mitchell. Outside. Porter for three. Oh!
They are totally breaking down everyone on the Sonics defensive end of the floor. Individual play.
7 of 11 shooting the three. Shrimp can't answer. Rebound. Mitchell keeps it alive. No, he doesn't.
Well, he kept Crawford right there. He kept it alive, but he went over the inline.
Yep.
I tell you what, I've never seen a team as consistently as Minnesota has been breaking down the Sonics defense. Just doesn't happen.
3:32 to go in the half.
The NBA playoffs on TBS, brought to you by The Home Depot. With guaranteed low prices on over 40,000 items, it's North America's home for home improvement. And by AT&T, it's all within your reach.
Well, it's getting very physical, and I just love the way Minnesota taking the physical play and not backing down. And then Porter knocks down the three-point shot after forcing the turnover. And everyone here now very much involved in this game.
Hawkins looking inside. They go to Baker and Garnett with the quickness to slap it away.
Tell you what, Minnesota making Seattle look tired. They're making them look a little bit slow. Sonics have missed 7 of their last 8 shots.
Maybe a little old.
A little old, you're right.
Payton for three answers that question.
Well, that takes the crowd right back out. It's been a fun matchup, Marbury and Payton. They love going at each other.
Payton's got 11. Marbury has 6 to this point. Here's Peeler. Inside they go to Garnett. Turn. Oh, nice move, and then lost it off the dribble. Tipped out of bounds. It's, oh no, Joe Crawford says it is Seattle ball. I thought, as Flip Saunders did, it still belonged to the Timberwolves.
Well, I think Tom Washington was going to give it to the Wolves, but the clear view coming from the outside, and Joe Crawford overruled.
Sonics look to tie here. The double comes immediately. They reverse it. They find Hawkins.
Tell you what, until the shot goes down from the outside for Seattle, that double team's going to continue to be aggressive.
Percy. They'll give him that shot, even though he's been making it.
Well, I don't think that touched the ball hit by rim.
Good call, Deck. 24-second violation. George Karl saying it bounced off the rim. I don't think so.
And Flip Saunders, as he made his way up the floor to call the next play, just stopped by the scorer's table and said, hey, guys, this is our building. Don't reset that thing so quickly.
Got to have everybody on the same page here.
Yes. We don't need that.
Minnesota by 2 and the ball. We approach 2 minutes and a half. Marbury, no. Baker comes away with the tip. Marbury sneaking up from behind, and he tipped it away.
Well, every play like that really works on Ben Baker because he just doesn't have that experience.
Gets it back. Peeler. Garnett keeps it alive. Mitchell's floater.
Man, they ever taken advantage of every extra opportunity. As I say, the energy level has to be a plus for Minnesota, and it has been to this point in this game.
Sonics really struggling. Schrempf had the shot, passed it up, goes to Kersey instead. He spins into traffic. No. Tipped. Yes.
Kersey's been really working hard on the boards. What a bright spot for Seattle.
8 points for Jerome in the game. Gets his club back to within 2. Winding down this first half. 1:15 to go. And Mitchell banks in 2 more.
You just don't see the Sonics broken down defensively as much as we've seen them the last couple of games. Just doesn't happen.
Foul is going to be on Stephon Marbury. Don't forget, at the conclusion of the first half, join Ernie Johnson with Kenny Smith and Muggsy Bogues for the Nike Halftime Report. They'll catch you up on all the playoff action from tonight. That's coming up at the half on the Nike Halftime Report.
Interesting substitution right there by George Karl. Jerome Kersey really working well, working the boards well. Gotten maybe the last 2 baskets for Seattle, but Sam Perkins checks back into the game. Maybe George Karl realizing that he needs a shooter from the outside to try to open up things for Ben Baker. Actually, no, because Ben Baker now taking a seat.
And Flip Saunders also is going to buy some time for Kevin Garnett, who has gone to the Minnesota bench, and Bill Curley has checked into the game.
Well, those 2 substitutions there, Ben Baker out as well as Kevin Garnett, are ways for the coach to protect them from picking up a cheap foul here in the last minute. So they want both of these guys to be able to go full speed in the second half.
It's a 2-point game at 48-46. Payton awaits Marbury. Peeler comes to the basketball, down to 8 on the shot clock. Peeler behind the screen, has to give it up to Mitchell. Sam's going to have to shoot it. He definitely able to draw the foul with 2 seconds on the clock.
Smart play. Heads-up play by Sam Mitchell. The other guy on this team with some significant playoff experience. You're talking about Porter, you talk about Mitchell for most of the playoff games for this team. But look at that heads-up play. The shot clock running down. Hersey Hawkins buys the pump fake and picks up the foul.
I was surprised Hersey bought that pump fake.
I really was as well. I mean, I don't know. Hersey might have 10 blocks all year long. You know, I don't know how many he's going to get.
Mitchell hits the free throw. Sam, an 83% free throw shooter on the year, has got 8 points tonight. The Hawk will have to sit down. That was his 3rd foul, and Hawkins, one of those guys you would like to have out there if you're George Karl for your last offensive possession of the half.
He would certainly be one of the key people when George Karl calls his plays, but he's not going to be able to be there.
Mitchell makes them both. 9 from Mitchell. Marbury aggressively up on Payton. T-Wolves should get the ball one more time here in the half. Payton thought about it. Goes to Perkins instead with time.
That's a ugly shot right there.
Mitchell, the rebound. Shot clock and game clock just about in sync. Maybe a second difference in the 20-second timeout. Taken by Flip Saunders. That's a good call by the young coach.
I'll tell you one thing. If you look at the first half of this one, and then you go back to game 2, and you put the spotlight on Flip Saunders, he hasn't made a mistake. I mean, I think every substitution has been timely. Every play, particularly the big plays, has been well thought out. And I think the move he made to go small, knowing that the Sonics struggled last year in the playoffs with the Phoenix Suns and their small ball lineup, and they have struggled this year with their small ball lineup. That change in the lineup was huge.
Saunders has his club right on the pace he wants offensively. They've got 50 points on the board, and they've got the ball with 19 seconds to go here in the first half. The T-Wolves are a very confident team if they can get a game into the hundreds.
Well, you know what? You win a game in Seattle in the playoffs, that gives you confidence. And they think they can outrun the Sonics, and they have done it so far in this game.
Bill Curley handles it, gives it up to Peeler. Marbury Anthony out defensively on Marbury right now.
Now the thing Minnesota has to make sure here is they don't want to shoot this ball and give the Sonics a chance to get it going the other way.
Stephon forced it up, then went after it. Rebound taken by Anthony. And the T-Wolves outscored Seattle 26-18 here in this second quarter. And they are happy here at the Target Center. Our halftime score, the Wolves 50, the Sonics 46.
Go to the net, NBA.com.
Fila welcomes you to the tonight.
Well, they're halfway home at the Target Center in Minneapolis, and the Timberwolves have a 50-46 lead over Seattle. Meantime, right now on TNT, you can watch the Lakers and the Blazers playing Game 3, LA with a 2-0 lead. We welcome you to the Nike Halftime Report here on TBS. Minnesota leading by 4. Ernie Johnson along with Kenny Smith. And our guest for the evening, Muggsy Bogues. I think if you're Anthony Peeler, guys, you got to be pinching yourself and saying, life is good. He was in Vancouver for a while. Now he's in the playoffs. He scores 13 in the first half, and his team's winning.
Absolutely. He's giving them a big lift. I mean, Peeler on the floor, and by a certain Terry Porter in the lineup, they put another score on the floor, and I think it's taking the ball out of Marbury's hands where he can free himself up, run around, get some steals, and make big plays.
Plus, those are two veteran guys. You know, they have a lot of experience and playoff experience with Terry Porter. All those years in Portland, those are showing now why he's so valuable for a young team like that.
Flip Saunders pushing all the right buttons, and Minnesota up by 4 at the break. Earlier tonight, Miami and New York played Game 3 at the Garden. Patrick Ewing hoping that the Knicks can get in the Eastern Conference semis and maybe he can play, but they're going to have to come from behind to do it. Rashawn Leonard cans a 3, 72-65. Miami, he had 28 on the night. Eric Murdoch has been huge for Pat Riley. He had 11 tonight, 11 key points. And, he's given Chris Childs a little bit of what he got the other day when they were in Miami. Chris Mills keeps them in it. It's a 4-point game, but then it's Eric Murdoch.
Yeah, Murdoch is still murdering them from the outside and knocks down the dagger that makes John Stark a little upset.
More than a little, probably 91-85. Miami beats the New York Knicks to take a 2-1 lead in this series. Houston goes for 27, but went scoreless over the last 15 minutes and 40 seconds of that game. Miami goes to the Garden where they were just 3-22, playoffs included, and they win Game 3 tonight, setting up Game 4. And before we get to that, let's get to Game 3 and what went right for the Miami Heat here, Kenny.
Well, if you would have told me last night that the Phoenix Suns and the San Antonio Spurs would have a defensive struggle and the Knicks would have a shootout, I would have said everybody's crazy. That's what happened today. They had a big shootout, but they got a lot of open looks. Here's Rashawn Leonard, not a hand in his face. You'll never see that usually from a Knicks team, a guy running out without having a hand in his face. Then Tim Hardaway breaks down the defense, and this is with 37 seconds to go. Murdoch gets a wide open look. It was an okay corral for them, and he gets the high five from coach.
Game 4 Thursday in New York. Muggsy, is it going back to Miami?
I think it possibly could end in New York. You know, Miami has too many weapons right now. You got Rashawn Leonard putting up some big numbers. He had 28 tonight. You had Hardaway continue to put big numbers with 27. Then you got a big play for Murdoch coming off the bench with Lonzo Mourning sitting over there, and they still getting the job done.
Yeah, Zoe didn't do much tonight. 7 points, 9 rebounds. He was in foul trouble, goes 3 out of 13 from the field, yet Miami wins. When the Nike Halftime Report continues, the Pacers couldn't complete a sweep last night. Tonight, the Hornets took a shot at it in Game 3 with the Hawks. Back with my Road Dogs in a minute.
38 shots, 2 passes, 2. Man, you ain't even letting the ground touch the ball.
There's only one set of prints on this wall. Your sons.
No, I pass. Sometimes.
Pass the ball, dog. Come on, pass me the ball. Pass it. Pass the ball, dog.
Jimmy, do what the man says. Pass the ball.
I'm waiting. GP, I think I got something.
It's never easy busting a kid who hasn't learned that passing is fun. You just hope it turns him around.
Welcome back to the Nike Halftime Report. It's a 4-point Minnesota lead over Seattle at the break. Meantime, a live look at the Rose Garden where the Lakers and the Blazers playing Game 3. LA looking for a sweep. Portland had jumped out to a 5-point lead in that one. Tomorrow night, 3 more games. On TNT, we'll start with the Bulls and the Nets, followed by the Jazz and the Rockets. On TBS, it's the Suns and the Spurs playing Game 4 as San Antonio tries to close out Phoenix at the Alamo Dome. Earlier tonight, Charlotte and Atlanta playing at the Georgia Dome, and Glenn Rice averaging 29 for the series. Same deal with Steve Smith. And would the Hawks stay alive in this thing? First bucket of the game off balance by Smitty, and just a sign of things to come. Still in the first quarter, Bobby Phills. That's a pretty sweet little baseline move and a stick. They're down 17-13. We go to the second quarter, and Mookie to Allen Henderson cutting through the lane, 41-28. Time running out in the second quarter. Mookie Blaylock. Check him out. Behind the Steve Smith pick. Knocks it down, 51-32 at the break. Here's your old teammate, Eldridge.
Yeah, he gets in the recliner and goes back for 3. Knocks it down. Eldridge, get busy, baby.
That stuff was falling all night long, obviously, for Atlanta as they win it 96-64. And yeah, if you're wondering if that is a playoff low, it ties it by the Charlotte Hornets. 64, the all-time low, also shared by the Orlando Magic and the Portland Trail Blazers, and Orlando also had a 67-point effort, but Charlotte equals that tonight in a real stinker in Atlanta, losing by 32. Now, what's the residual effect of a game like that in the playoffs, guys? I mean, does that stick with you, or are you just able to say, fluke?
Well, I think for Atlanta, I think it's good for their psyche. Not only did they want to send a message, they'll get a win, they wanted to really send a message that we should be dominating this series. They were shocked that they was down 0-2, came back home, felt comfortable, got a big win. Now they go home and make some more adjustments and try to come out with the same intensity.
If you're Dave Cowens, you just write this thing off as saying, that's an aberration, that's a fluke. And you go back to Charlotte for a couple of days, or do you hang around Atlanta?
No, I'm getting out of Atlanta. I don't want to see anything, and I don't want to drink the water. I don't want to eat the food. Everything was wrong in Atlanta this time. We're getting out of there, going back to Charlotte, and try to get our focus back and try to play some type of semblance of the basketball that we play down in Charlotte.
Game 4 is in Atlanta Friday night. Back to wrap up the Nike Halftime Report right after this. Still looking for the first sweep of the first round. Complete playoff highlights. You want the post-game reaction, then you want Inside the NBA on our sister network TNT at the end of the night, as Vince Cellini is joined by the Clippers' Ike Austin. Here on TBS, they're going to the third quarter at Target Center. Minnesota up by 4.
In the Northwest, it rains 200 days a year.
Consultation. Work that I received from Mesh Special and Spence gave me peace.
Granted by the National Basketball Association. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
They are loving their Timberwolves out here in Minneapolis, and with good reason, as their club has a 50-46 lead here at the half. They continue to be the surprise team here of this year's NBA playoffs, and it's the veterans, Jack, who are doing the job for them.
Well, Mike, this game very much similar to Game 2, and if you're Seattle, you look down at the score sheet and you see Kevin Garnett with 6 points, and you see Stephen Marbury with just 6. You're concerned because these guys, once again, Peeler, Porter, and Mitchell are stepping up and playing great basketball. But you know in the second half, the game is going to belong to the 2 stars here. And that, of course, Marbury and Garnett.
Now, I know Seattle came in here as prohibitive favorites, but they're going to be very concerned right now, Jeff.
Well, I'm just wondering that Seattle give their best shot in that first period when they came out, tried to jump on Minnesota, deliver the message, and George Karl trying to pump up his point guard here. And he's saying, Gary, you're giving me negative vibes right now, baby. I need you to step up and to play some basketball, and we'll see how Gary Payton reacts.
All right, we need Mark Zumoff to step up here right now, too. Mark.
Gentlemen, George Karl had Minnesota's 7 for 11 three-point shooting circled on the stat sheet and told his team, quote, you haven't defended yet in the game. But he also told them, hey, guys, don't get frustrated because you're down at halftime. You're on the road. You can't expect to be up. He said, offensively, we're getting open stuff, but he'd like better three-point shooting. They're 2 for 9. And he did keep his promise. He brought Dale Ellis and Sam Perkins off the bench early. Now he needs them to deliver.
The real problem with what he's getting from his bench right now is they have given him just 5 points between Perkins and between Dell Ellis. Now, Minnesota not getting much from their bench either, but when you think about it, Seattle definitely depends a whole lot more on their bench than does Minnesota.
Mitchell goes inside to Garnett. He's triple team, takes it anyway, doesn't get the bounce. Rebound taken down by Kersey. Kersey is out there with Payton, Hawkins, Baker, and Schrempf. And the T-Wolves counter with Marbury, Peeler, Mitchell, Garnett, and Porter. We are underway here in the third. The Sonics have the ball down 4. Baker inside, and he gets 2. Ben had just 6 points in that first half.
Well, I like the way Seattle went away from Ben Baker first and did not just put him on the low post. They brought him from the weak side, and he was able to stick his head right under the basket.
Garnett brings home a follower.
Well, you know he's going to start making shots because you like the shots he's gotten all game long. Those are the shots he makes every night.
Garnett had 13 of his 15 points in game 2 in the second half.
Ben's touched the ball every possession for Seattle so far.
Let's throw it up for Baker. He gets it on the other side. Stripped nicely by Peeler. Stolen back by Kersey, and he gets 2. Jerome Kersey has got 10 points. He just has been a much bigger factor than I ever thought he was going to be, Jeff.
Yeah, but you know what? When you think about his experience and when you consider Jerome Kersey does a great job of staying within himself, you won't see him try anything out of the ordinary.
But stripped there, we put the jinx on him, that's for sure.
Well, you know, becomes Porter. Yeah, you're right about that. But Jerome's going to make some other good things happen. You know that.
Porter will pull it back out. Just about 2 minutes gone here in the third. Porter drives into a crowd. And I think they got Baker outside.
Yeah, see, sometimes that switching defense for Seattle is good. But then on other occasions, you have the big guys trying to defend the guards. And I think the one thing that Minnesota's doing differently since game 1 in that situation is those little guys, the smaller guys now, are keeping their dribble alive and putting the pressure on Baker to move laterally. And he's just not been able to defend out on the floor.
Let's see how Baker defends now with 3 fouls. Garnett's trying to get the spot. They go right at Baker. Garnett turns on him, keeps the dribble alive. The double comes from Kersey. Looking for help. It's behind Mitchell, but comes right to Marbury. He gets it to Peeler. Rebound loose on the floor. Peeler's got it in traffic and gets it clear to Mitchell. Mitchell, the kick. Porter thought about a 3. Marbury, Peeler, they swing it to Mitchell.
The ball movement, it doesn't go.
Garnett the fall.
Clean up. Well, that's just tremendous effort by Minnesota. I'm telling you, hustle points now. Minnesota getting to every loose ball.
54-50 inside Baker. The double comes immediately from the top this time from Marbury. Kersey is going to get to the line. Garnett picks up that foul. That'll be 2 on Kevin.
Now watch the scramble. Look at the bodies on the floor. Now both teams going for it, but look who comes up with it. Peeler once again, and then it moves around. The shot's not going to go from the outside, but because the Sonic defense has to scramble here, they're out of position to rebound, and that gives Garnett the putback.
Kersey makes that free throw. 11 now for Jerome in the game. Gets his club back to within 3. 9:16 to go in the third. 2-point game.
Jerome Kersey continues to come through for the Sonics.
Averaged 6 points a game over the course of the season. He has 12 here tonight. He's also got 8 rebounds. Porter, no rebound on the weak side. Schrempf then. Sonics a chance to tie here. Passed up Kersey to get it to Schrempf. Hawkins with plenty of time couldn't make the 3. Gets it back. Gets a little close to baseline and kicks it inside Baker.
Nice move, man.
Tie game.
Very nice. And what he's doing now, the last 2 times he's touched the basketball, he's making the quick, aggressive move, not waiting for the double team.
4 Sonics in double figures, and Seattle has come back to tie this at 54. Marbury.
Shot selection is, as I say, a lot more important for Minnesota than it is for Seattle.
Schrempf knocks it down.
That's where Seattle excels. When they get the long rebound, Payton can push it down, get the defense back to the paint, and then get the shot.
But Saunders has seen enough. He calls a timeout. And the Sonics have climbed back into the lead at 56-54.
Well, another successful neighborhood.
TBS, brought to you by Dutch Boy Paints. Give your home the lasting look of Dutch Boy. And by Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. That's genuine Chevrolet.
Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference brackets as the Bulls will try to wrap it up tomorrow night against the Nets. Big comeback by the Hawks this evening. Cleveland now 2-1 in their series, and Miami has the home court advantage back off their win earlier this evening at Madison Square Garden. 8:17 left to play here in the third. The Sonics have seized back the lead off a 6-0 run.
Seattle doing a good job rebounding the basketball. 24-17, they're leading in that statistic, and when they rebound, they normally win.
Garnett really screaming for the ball down in the blocks, and screaming over there in the runway is Mark Sumoff. Mark.
Well, Jack Gibbons was right on about Minnesota's shot selection. In the last timeout, Flip Saunders said, guys, you've taken 6 3-pointers in the first 3 minutes. In reality, only 3 3-pointers. Nonetheless, he's concerned about quick shooting. He says the game's played inside out. He says if you shoot quick, you have no chance at a rebound.
Payton on the break for 2.
Well, that's a prime example right there of what their long, quick shots do for you. Another long shot coming, the long rebound, and Seattle now in their transition game, and that is exactly where they want to be.
Veteran Mitchell taking that last quick shot, and Peeler launches.
Well, you know, I think it's going to take another timeout, and I saw the look on Flip's face. I said, guys, didn't we just talk about that? I mean, didn't we just mention that?
Payton's little floater went down, was nearly slapped in. Now Marbury the other way. Steph on the crossover, can't finish. And late call and a foul. Ronnie Nunn's got it.
Look at the long rebound. And then look what happens. Payton gets behind the defense, and there's no one to stop it. Jerome Kersey got caught on that foul.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Just a little push. Garnett ended up in the 5th row, but it was a little push.
Garnett again squares up on Baker. Baker playing with 3 personal fouls. Garnett wants to try to take him. Kersey comes, helps out on the double team, out of bounds. Still 2 of ball. 11 on the shot clock. We're about to go under 7 to play here in the third.
Seattle coming with a little double team of their own, and this actually plays into their favor as well, because out of the double team, their weak side defense, their adjustments on the weak side, gets them a lot of takeaways.
Garnett comes up firing. 2 for 12 shooting now for the Timberwolves here in the third, but they get a second chance. Marbury.
They chase down another loose ball.
Marbury, the kick, Peeler.
Yeah. Marbury's so good off the dribble. He is so good at drawing the attention to himself and then finding one of his teammates.
15 now for Peeler. Seattle, you remember, took this crowd right out of the game in the first quarter. And they've done a pretty good job of taking them out here in the third. Schrempf long with that 3. Look at Kersey on the offensive glass, and then he lost it.
He thought someone grabbed his arm. But you give that kind of effort, Jerome Kersey, good things are going to happen.
Flip Saunders up there saying, hey, give me the ball. We want to get it in bounds.
Now watch Jerome Kersey. Just eats up that rebound and cannot control it. And he's going to the bench.
Hawkins back in. Hawkins playing with 3 fouls.
You know, I think George Karl really got out of his rotation in the last game. And he's going over and beyond the Call of Duty here to get his key people minutes.
Mitchell to the basket.
I don't think there's any question, though, that with Jerome Kersey on the bench, you give up a lot of quickness in that exchange with Sam Perkins.
And you certainly open up some lanes to the hoop.
Yes, you do.
Schrempf kicks it out. Perkins spins it to Hawkins. Hawkins into the paint. The finger roll. Boom.
You don't see Hersey Hawkins do that very often. Give you the pump fake and go all the way to the basket. Did that a lot in game 1. That's not his move.
Garnett got stripped. Baker the loose ball. Baker gets it ahead. Schrempf uses the Baker screen, and Detlef got hit in the lane. The foul is going to go on Terry Porter.
Mitchell taking the ball to the basket here. And they continue to challenge around the basket. And once again, with Perkins in there, not a real shot block. Jerome Kersey will challenge at the hole. That's one of the things George Karl gives up, though, when he makes that change.
Tom Hammonds comes into the Minnesota lineup. He, too, will challenge anything coming into the lane. Shrimp. Perkins with time. Knocks down a three.
Now, that's where Perkins can hurt you, no question about it. And Sam has to start delivering now, because if he's going to be on the floor, he's going to have to give him some numbers on offense.
Seattle has opened up a 5-point lead with 5 to go in the third. Garnett inside to Hammonds. Hammonds will try to go on Baker. Backs his way down. Perkins comes on the double.
Real good double team.
Loose ball to Hawkins. Payton. Hawkins comes up firing. This is Seattle basketball, even though it didn't go in.
Well, that's Seattle's game. Yep. And that's the way they play. Their transition game, it's nothing to pull up and knock down or to take a three-point shot. They didn't knock it down.
Hammonds. And Tom Hammonds will get to the line. Let's see where the call's going to go.
Hawkins reacted the most. And that normally means the foul's going to go against that player.
That is the 4th on Perkins. First player in this game in some foul trouble. Dale Ellis will come back into the game. Dale Ellis, now he's playing hurt. He has a stomach injury, but he has not found anything resembling rhythm in any one of the 3 games.
He really hasn't. And I think a part of the reason is he's had some real inconsistent minutes in this series. So he hasn't had a chance to get up and down the floor and to get loosened up. I think the way the game is played right now, you'll see the Sonics shooting some three-point shots. They have the Timberwolves back on their heels now.
Great play by Baker as he came over the top to get the steal. Payton the other way. Sonics the ball up 5 as we're approaching 4 minutes to go in the third. Inside Baker, the double from Garnett. Foul will be on Marbury. Number 2 on Stefan.
They have, Minnesota has really extended their defense. You see them right there at the three-point line, so they must be thinking the same thing I am. This is when Seattle likes to throw up the threes.
Payton to the basket, count it, he'll go to the line.
Yeah, that's a real nice mix of inside-outside work there, because the Sonics knocked down a three-point shot or 2, and now Minnesota has to extend their defense, and Payton takes it right onto the hole.
Minnesota is going to take a timeout off that Gary Payton bucket. The lead has ballooned to 7. It's 65-58.
For sports news.
Tell you what, I just like this matchup at the point guard spot, boy. They are going right at each other. Gary Payton keeping the pressure on Marbury, and every chance Marbury gets, he tries to get to the hole.
The second foul on Payton. Stephen knocks down the first. Tomorrow night here on Turner Sports, it's a triple header on TNT. Game 1 takes you to New Jersey for the Bulls and the Nets, followed by Utah at Houston. And coverage begins at 7 Eastern. And then on TBS, San Antonio will host Phoenix. Coverage there begins at 8 Eastern. The Spurs a chance to close out the Suns.
Well, the Nets had an opportunity in Chicago in Game 1. Yeah, you have to wonder now if the Bulls are going to be able to sweep. The good thing for New Jersey, they're starting to get some play from their big people. Every game for Jason Williams makes a difference.
Baker made a great spin move, and then Garnett made a wonderful defensive play.
Big time knock back by Garnett there.
Third block for Garnett, gets the crowd alive. Porter, Peeler, in and out.
Big mess. Unfortunate break for Peeler. That one was down, came back out.
1:10 left to go here in the third. A rapidly moving game tonight here in Minneapolis. Payton gets a screen. Gets it back to Perkins. 3 on the shot clock. McMillan does not get the bounce. Let's check in with Mark Sumoff. Mark.
Tom Hammonds, who injured his left ankle late in the season, had to miss some time. The guy who hobbled off moments ago, just getting that left ankle retaped. He tweaked it. He is expected back.
And the Timberwolves will need him.
Yes, they will, because as you look at their roster and you understand Stanley Roberts has not played much in this series. Cherokee Parks has been injured, will not play.
Daniels got stuffed on the way to the basket, and here come the Sonics in transition. Payton taking it hard, and Sam Mitchell, not giving any freebies, takes the foul. Number 3 on Mitchell.
I think what this game has evolved into is the experience factor coming into play for Seattle. They're trying to draw as much on that as they possibly can. And then you have the youth and the exuberance of Minnesota trying to carry them over. Fun little chess match going on here.
Gary Payton filling up that stat line this evening. Point number 19, 6-point Seattle lead. 38 seconds to go in the third.
Gary Payton once again putting up some shots, but his assist total not where George Karl would want it. He has 5 assists in this game, and once again, it's partly because his teammates have missed some shots, but he needs to make sure he keeps everyone involved.
Big possession here for the Timberwolves, down 7, winding down the third. They go to Garnett, quick double from Payton to Mitchell on a cut, and he gets 2.
Well, you don't talk a whole lot about Garnett's passing ability, but he averages over 4 assists a game at 6'11". So that's a part of his game that sometimes gets overlooked.
Now the T-Wolves need a stop. Payton with 3 on the clock. Payton, no rebound. And Williams unable to get a shot off. But a 9-point swing here in the third quarter has the Sonics up by 5. 72-67, 12 to go in Minneapolis.
I know a place.
This is not a country for wimps. We invented the cowboy, the jawbreaker, and the quarterback blitz.
I'll take you there.
We are rough on our cars. So get a Chevy Malibu. It'll go up to 100,000 miles before its first scheduled tune-up. Transmission fluid, 100,000 miles. Engine coolant, 5 years or 150,000 miles. We're talking tough. The car you knew America could build. The Chevy Malibu.
I'll take you there. Oh!
When you realize that children and young adults with diabetes need up to 6 shots of insulin every day just to stay alive, and when you learn that 16 million Americans are threatened by diabetes, a leading cause of blindness, kidney failure, and heart disease, costing our nation over $130 billion every year, you think, we've got to find a cure. The Juvenile Diabetes Foundation has just one goal, a cure for diabetes and its complications. JDF has my full commitment. Please join us.
On May 8th, we've discovered 2 comets. Prepare. They're both headed for Earth. For impact. From executive producer Steven Spielberg and director Mimi Leader. Deep Impact. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, May 8th.
In the Northwest, it rains 200 days a year. In the Sunbelt, the sun never stops. In the Heartland, weather is extreme. Your home has its own climate, and now it has its own paint. New Dutch Boy Climate Guard. 5 different exterior paints formulated to withstand the specific weather conditions in the 5 different regions of the country, guaranteed for 20 years. So wherever your home is, give it the special protection it needs. Give it the lasting look of new Dutch Boy Climate Guard paints.
Clean is my business. So when I'm on the road, Super 8's my motel. Clean carpets, clean seats, clean. Clean inside and out. Life's great at Super 8.
Quite a matchup brewing at the point guard spot. Stephen Marbury keeping the pressure on the Sonic defense. Breaks down Detlef for the 3-pointer for Terry Porter. And then you've seen the same thing from Payton. There he is getting to the painted area, forcing the defense to come back. And then he gets the 3-point shot attempt for Detlef.
It'll be Gary Payton, Jerome Kersey, Nate McMillan, Sam Perkins, and Dale Ellis to start the fourth for the Sonics. Michael Williams, Porter. Oh, what a screen. That was a great screen. Garnett. And Peeler are on the floor right now for the T-Wolves. Ball goes into Perkins, 2 on the shot clock. Perkins knows it. Rebound taken by Garnett.
Great defense by Minnesota. Got the shot they wanted. Sam Perkins falling away under pressure.
outside, goes to Garnett. They come to Mitchell. He's got an opening. And he's fouled by Ellis. I don't know there why Dale did that.
Well, you know what? You look at Dale Ellis and you realize he's been in the league for as long as he has. Been in that situation, and you don't expect him to make that kind of play. But the thing Seattle is trying to do right now is challenge every jump shot. Dale Ellis got a lot of body on that one. Tell you what, playing for Hubie Brown, there are some things, a lot of things Hubie didn't like. But one thing he really didn't like was to foul the jump shooter. Do not foul the guy in the act of shooting. That earned me a lot of bench time.
I could ask Hubie about that. Your bench time is what I'm referring to.
Well, I had some.
Payton backing his way down, lost it. T-Wolves can tie this trip. Williams, no, but he'll get to the free throw line. He went down hard, fouled by Nate McMillan.
Well, what a long way Michael Williams has come. You realize his first game here in Minnesota, after spending so much time on the bench, 3 years, he got booed, roundly booed, but he's making up for it right now.
George Karl has called time in a 2-point game.
Is it still there?
No! There's only 1 Mile High Taste. Coors, the original.
Can we use a rigid ladder-type frame to reach new heights in performance? Can the cab-forward concept create more room, even in the trunk? When it comes to what you'll expect down the road, do we have things pretty well covered? These are the questions. This is the answer. Dodge Stratus. Starting under 14.4, 18.4 impressively equipped.
Tonight's Dutch boy in the paint.
Unlike game 2, the Sonics leading in all these categories around the basket in the painted area. You see the rebounds, the offensive rebounds in favor of Seattle. Points in the paint, very much in favor of Seattle. Part of that is Garnett having a difficult time shooting the basketball tonight.
Garnett comes back out with Williams, Porter, Keeler, and Mitchell. Stephon Marbury stays over there on the Minnesota bench.
So what, Garnett getting some real good looks at the basket, but he's 5 for 14 in this game.
Tie game.
Yeah, they're cheering for Michael Williams now. They wanted him to retire so they could use some of his salary towards picking up another player. He said, I don't want to sit back and just collect my money and not work for it. Now, in some circles, that's a good thing, but they booed him his first time back here.
Baker takes a tough fall away and makes it home.
Vinny getting some looks tonight. He's having to create on his own, but he's getting some shots.
14 now for Baker, 7 of 11 from the field. Sonics by 2. McMillan has got Peeler. Marbury will come back into the game next whistle. 4 on the shot clock. Porter knows it, takes it, makes it.
Pressure. High pressure player. He's just drawing on all those years of experience, all those playoff games, the couple of times to the finals, and he is making big shots.
Ellis looks inside. They go again to Baker. The double comes from Williams. They reverse it. McMillan is open, but a foul is going to be called on Perkins, I believe.
Perkins with the moving screen. Watch Porter here as the clock is running out. Dale Ellis said, hey, I committed the foul on the act of shooting the last time. I'm going to back up a little bit, and that's all the room Porter needed.
Some changes. Let's give you the lineups. It's Schrempf, Baker, McMillan, Payton, and Hawkins. On the other side, Marbury, Garnett, Williams, Peeler, and Mitchell. Minnesota the ball, tied at 74.
Now this play designed to get Kevin Garnett a touch on the low post. We'll see if he gets it.
Mitchell. Still time, 10 on the shot clock. They get it back in the hands of Marbury. He checks the clock.
Now this play has had disaster all over right from the beginning.
Mitchell for the lead!
But he cleans it up. He cleans it up. That just shows you the quickness Minnesota's moving with in this game to get that good a shot after running such an ugly play.
Schrempf looks inside, knocked away by Peeler. Picked off, though, by Schrempf. Stripped. Garnett comes up with it.
They have to score here. Good teams do.
Williams to Marbury to Mitchell. In and out.
Big miss.
Payton the other way. Payton. Offensive foul.
As you look at George Karl, I think he is seeing right now something he told us when we talked to him earlier. Sometimes with Payton, his biggest asset can be a liability. His desire to win sometimes means he tries to do a little too much, as that might have been the case there trying to create when he didn't have the numbers.
9-2 run by the Timberwolves. Williams into the paint, kicks it. Peeler will take it. Got it!
Man, I tell you, what you are seeing now, Seattle as a team is great defensively.
The NBA playoffs on TNT and TBS. Best Buy and Deep Impact, the movie event of the summer, bring you Score from Deep, a sweepstakes of earth-shattering proportions. Visit any Best Buy for an entry form and see Deep Impact in theaters May 8th.
Check out that game last night? What a finish.
Yeah.
Let's keep it light. Want to go for 5?
Sure. Would that be minutes or miles?
Wow. Hey, you want to slow it up?
Yeah. I'm having a little problem here.
Barry, we've gone like 50 yards.
Yeah, it's these shoes, man. I mean, this was cool, man. I'm glad we did this, but there's something I gotta do. It's the shoes or something.
Barry, come on, man.
I got things to deal with. I gotta get out of here, man.
Can we enhance performance by simply moving a battery? Is it possible to combine the ease of an automatic with the fun of a manual? Is everyone comfortable with the concept of cab-forward design? These are the questions. This is the answer. Dodge Stratus. Starting under $14,400, $18,400 impressively equipped.
The NBA playoffs on TNT and TBS. Best Buy and Deep Impact, the movie event of the summer, bring you Score from Deep, a sweepstakes of earth-shattering proportions. Visit any Best Buy for an entry form and see Deep Impact in theaters May 8th.
The 1998 Atlanta Braves, all season on the Superstation.
Here's a look at tonight's Home Depot game summary.
Field goal percentage back up there now for Minnesota. They struggled early in the second half, but they're shooting 47% now, and they're definitely dominating here in this period. Now, the point I was going to make about Seattle's defense, as a team, they are very good defensively. But what the smaller lineup for Minnesota has done, it has put the pressure on Seattle individually, where they struggle somewhat, and that means Minnesota is able to get shots.
Williams defensively on Payton. Payton keeps the dribble alive, and the foul is called on Williams. Let's check in with Mark Zumoff. Mark.
Boy, George Karl was absolutely wild during that last huddle. His eyes were wide. His hair was flying. He was particularly upset with Vin Baker for just walking up and down the floor. He says, Vin, you got to run. Look for Vin now to get involved offensively.
All right, Mark. Keep hanging around those huddles, buddy.
The one thing with Vin Baker, you know he's going to get doubled up. And they have to go to the outside maybe to get one to go, and that's what they do. And that might open it up a little bit for Vin Baker.
First basket of the night for Nate McMillan, and that's a big one. Gets his club back to within 2.
Look at how wide the floor is, the offensive settings. Take away every opportunity for double teams. Good individual defensive play there by Vin Baker.
Garnett comes up short. Here's Payton. Sonics looking for the tie, or can take the lead back again with a 3. 7.5 to play. And Williams is going to be called for a foul, just leaning on Detlef Schrempf.
Well, that probably is better than what was going to happen, and that was Detlef Schrempf working against a much smaller player in Michael Williams, so he gives up the foul, and he's going to have to give up his body to the bench as Terry Porter comes back in the game.
3 fouls for Williams as he sits down.
Did a good job.
7 points, sure did. Payton with a fresh clock. Sonics down 2. Payton. Hawkins misses the 3. Marbury there. Stephon pushing it up.
And good job just getting under control. He wants to push it against Payton. Every possession is a challenge. Once again, there's the breakdown of the defense out in the individual one-on-one matchup.
What an explosive first step by Marbury there to go by Payton. Watch this.
Yeah, this is good because Payton, he loves to try to intimidate everybody he matches up against. And Marbury goes around him as if he's not even there.
I was just going to say, you don't catch Gary Payton standing still too much. Marbury a point away from a double-double here tonight. Already has 10 assists. Tom Hammonds will check in. Sam Mitchell will get a rest. I would guess we'll see Sam again with about 3 to go.
I would think so, yeah. And maybe not even that long because you have him a couple minutes, then you have a timeout coming. So you get the benefit of that.
Marbury makes them both. The lead is full. Approaching the halfway mark of the fourth as Payton backs Marbury down. Baker's trying to find the spot. They get it to Baker. Goes right into the double team, but I think they got Hammonds from behind with the foul. Yes, they do.
Yeah, but you have to like Vin Baker taking the ball. He has been faced with the double team now for 7 straight periods. So it is time for Vin to find a way to figure it out. And he's been aggressive against it.
Inside. Wasn't there. Now he makes a move to the basket. Comes up with the left hand. Thought he got hit. And out of the pack comes Hammonds.
It's hard to give the guy the whistle when he goes up for the shot, but he doesn't attack the basket. And Vin is falling away just a little bit instead of stepping towards the bucket.
Wheeler's got Schrempf on him. Goes inside to Hammonds. Turns on Baker. Baker shuts him off. Hammonds the fall away. Short with it. Rebound. Oh, they got Schrempf with the foul. I thought it was over the back of Schrempf. Instead, Schrempf was over the back of somebody else.
And George Karl really working the sidelines trying to figure out a way to get some points for his team. I'll tell you what, Seattle's offense has really struggled in this final period.
Sonics have scored 4 points. Wheeler, a 3! The lead is up to 7.
I'm just surprised I'm not seeing more a look of confidence in the face of Seattle right now. They are bewildered.
They have scored only 4 points in better than 6 minutes of play here in the fourth. Payton, oh my goodness.
See, That's the kind of mistake you would expect Minnesota to be making. Hesitating, not really sure of themselves.
Turnovers in the quarter. Garnett's pass nearly picked, but Porter is there. Porter. Peeler, deep three. Doesn't get the bounce. Garnett, the follow.
Dominating every phase of this game.
They are loving it here in Minneapolis.
A lot of industry experts told us that the passenger side was the best place to add a third door. We got still more advice insisting that the driver's side was the only logical choice. But as you can see, we let it all go right in one ear and out the other. Introducing the new Dodge Ram Quad Cab. Now lease a Ram regular cab for $229 a month.
Searching for the right neighborhood to build your new home in? Lumber One invites you to visit Sunwood Park, the best-kept secret in St. Cloud. Located just south of Discovery School, you'll find scenic ponds, wooded and cul-de-sac lots with city services. Only minutes from shopping in I-94, lot prices start at $17,900 and homes start at $90,000. Welcome to Sunwood Park. Call Lumber One today.
Pass it on. Pass it on. We are Lumber One.
Disney Channel's Jeff Corwin and TCI invite you to enter Disney's Going Wild Adventure Sweepstakes. Solve the creature clues at the Disney store near you, and you can go wild with Jeff Corwin at Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park at the Walt Disney World Resort, where you'll find all sorts of creatures. Look for the Tree of Life store display at the Disney store, then find the hidden featured creatures. Or watch Going Wild with Jeff Corwin Sunday nights on Disney for a chance to enter from home. And you can be going wild with Jeff Corwin at Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park.
Don't miss the adventure. Stop by the Disney store at Crossroads.
Well, I'll tell you one thing right now. Minnesota making you wonder which team is seeded number 2 and which team is the 7th one, as the big plays being made down the stretch by Minnesota. Anthony Peeler knocks down the three-point shot, and then the rebound by Garnett gets him a dunk.
With 5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, Seattle has 5 field goal attempts and 5 turnovers.
The quicker team has definitely been Minnesota.
Porter now defensively out on Payton. Hawkins tries to get himself free and does. Goes to Schrempf. Schrempf wants to go over Peeler. Wide with it. Baker keeps it alive, kicks it back. They swing it to Hawkins. Misses. Baker follows.
Well, the Minnesota bench wanted the push-off. They didn't get it on that one. Vin Baker working the boards hard.
85-78. The T-Wolves lead by 7 and the ball. Garnett.
Oh, man. Boy, you just have to be concerned when you're Seattle, and this guy has struggled the whole game, because you know he's going to get you some numbers at some point.
The second straight game, a big second half. Payton can't answer. Garnett up big for the rebound.
That rebound, the board right now belongs to one guy on this floor. It belongs to Garnett.
Peeler. The Sonics are in a huge hole right now. Garnett. Marbury.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do, George Karl, when those kinds of shots are going against you? Confidence in the white jerseys.
And nobody was back to take the inbounds pass for Seattle. They nearly turned the ball over because they couldn't pass it in. Baker kicks it out. This place is bedlam.
Shrimp, no. And you do get the push off that time. Sure do. Now, Mike, a couple of things are going to come into play down the stretch here. And unfortunately, they both go against Seattle. Number one, you have Minnesota Minnesota the #1 team in the league at committing the fewest turnovers. So don't expect them to give the ball away. And then the other thing is, when you look at the green jerseys, you understand Seattle is the worst rebounding team in the league. So Minnesota can let the shots fly, and they can send people to go get them. So Seattle definitely has his work cut out for him the last 3.5 minutes.
Hammonds with his first point of the night. Seattle has scored 6 points in the fourth quarter.
A turnover. Boy, I don't know. Tell you what, you look at all the years Seattle has had playing basketball this time of the year. And you think about this being just Minnesota's second trip to the playoffs. And it's amazing we're seeing Seattle fall apart the way they are.
Garnett's going to take it.
And make it. Well, they are so confident. They are so confident, and this is the kind of play that carries over to the next game.
You know, one way underage drinkers can get beer is if someone who's over 21 buys it for them. If you have friends who are underage and they ask you to buy them a beer, do us all a favor and don't. 21 means 21. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Trouble finding your seats? So you're in Section A, Row 1, seats 1 and 2. Yeah, your seats, they're all the way up there.
Need a little help? Yeah. This says Section Double Z, seat 381. You're courtside. Huh? That's right, kids. Come on, courtside.
All the way up. Keep going.
You're gonna need these, mister.
CEOs in the cheap seats, fans on the floor. Fun justice was served.
Do you think I could borrow these when you're done?
San Francisco in the middle 60s was a very special time and place to be a part of. We were riding the crest of a high and beautiful wave. So now, less than 5 years later, you can almost see the high water mark. That place where the wave finally broke and rolled back.
From the director of 12 Monkeys, based on the book that defined a generation, Johnny Depp, Benicio del Toro, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Buy the ticket, take the ride.
Rated R. Starts Friday, May 22nd at theaters everywhere.
Well, it's all Minnesota right now. Well, they are playing with so much confidence. This is what youth does for you. Pour it on, baby. Pour it on.
Michael Williams saying, right there, we got heart. Kevin McHale was leading the cheers moments ago. It's so tough for Kevin to watch. He plays the game in about a 2.5-foot circle up there to see.
Look at the score in this period. 26 points. And I think the 6 points obviously even more impressive.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Payton kicks it out. Hawkins for 3, and he makes it. 9 points for Hawkins, and the Sonics are going to come with some full court pressure, but they are down a dozen with 2.5 to go. And Marbury easily gets it across the line and keeps right on trucking. Stephon blocked by Baker, picked off by Perkins. The Sonics need some threes in a hurry here.
Well, that's the kind of shot you can't afford to take right now. When you think of that clock being an ally, you want to use as much of it as you possibly can.
Schrempf double team, finds Payton on a cut, he banks it home. A 22-point night for Payton. It's a 10-point game.
Now you want to burn the clock. You don't want to try to force the action right now. The good shots have come because you've been smart.
You don't foul if you're Seattle?
I don't think you can afford to foul right now because you don't want to give them points with the clock stopped. So it comes down to fouling time when it gets below 1 minute.
Baker. I don't think so. Flip Saunders wanted Anthony Peeler committing any fouls, but he did.
Well, they had one to give, so you're not going to get any points out of it, any free throws coming. The thing you have to do now if you're Minnesota to make sure you are aware of the three-point line.
He just committed another one.
Now that's a tough matchup with Detlef working against him at 6'11".
And Flip Saunders, I think, wants to talk this over as the Sonics, for the first time in this quarter, have scored points in a hurry. They have cut it to a 10-point game. They'll be at the line with 1:33 to go.
National Geographic Explorer, Sunday nights, 7 Eastern, only on the Superstation.
Dodge Ram gives you the most powerful overall line of pickup engines on the planet, including 2 gutsier V8s, the most powerful V10, and a diesel that's more muscular than ever. You'll be glad to know we also worked on this, making it easy to answer the oft-asked question, wow, what have you got under there? Dodge Ram. Now lease a Ram regular cab for $229 a month.
In our quest for the finest brakes in the world, we tested our pads against other leading brands. With pad after pad, in test after test, the results were always the same. No other brand stopped shorter than Performance Friction Carbon Metallic, the ones we stock at AutoZone.
There is a war going on, and the battlefield is your yard. To win this war, you'll need the most powerful equipment. You'll need the very best supplies. You'll need guaranteed low prices. Who has the power to bail out the troops? The Home Depot.
Lots of great NBA playoff action coming your way tomorrow night. The Bulls will look to close out the Nets. The Jazz and Rockets go at it again, and the Suns looking to stay alive. 2 on TNT, 1 on TBS. Let's check in with Mark Zumoff. Mark.
Mike George Karl turning Sunday preacher, saying, I don't know if you guys think you know how to win the game or not, but go out there and figure out something. He said, just go out and play your tails off.
Well, you would have to hope for George Karl that's enough for this team, but the problem is in the white jerseys, because that team has played their tails off even more than Seattle has, and you have to wonder if that's going to change. Real key down the stretch here. Seattle on the season, the first in the league in three-point field goal percentage at 39.6%. But tonight they're 4 for 19. Even in game 1, when they won handily, they were just 5 for 21, and in game 2, they were 8 for 25. So that three-point line has not been all that good to them in the playoffs here.
Live by the 3, die by the 3, no? You hear that enough.
Yes, and it has been trouble for the Sonics the last 2 ball games. Jerome Kersey picks up the transition foul. Really not the kind of play George Karl wanted.
It's going to put Kevin Garnett at the free throw line in an 8-point game with 1:27 to play. The Sonics, you remember, led this game by 11 in the first quarter. First trip to the free throw line for Kevin Garnett tonight.
Well, and that's unusual because he normally shoots a bunch of free throws.
Mitchell will get his spot on the line. Flip Saunders trying to figure a way to get these last 87 seconds to move a little faster.
Well, one way to do it is for his guys not to commit the foul. Leave the fouling to Seattle right now. Tom Hammond checks into the game for Mitchell, who is still not 100%. And you also want to protect Mitchell because you want him in the game and not in foul trouble.
Garnett gets his own miss.
As I say, you can't change the way you've played all season long at this time of the year. And that has been a weakness for Seattle from game 1. They're rebounding. You can't change.
Sam Mitchell uses a timeout, and It'll be just a 20-second timeout taken by the Timberwolves here. They used their last one. They still have 2 full timeouts left, but they should have trouble getting the ball inbounds. The Sonics with just a single 20-second timeout left. 1:21 on the clock. It's a 3-possession game at 94-85. You heard Gary Payton the other night telling us how much he hated to lose. It has been a rough 4 or 5 days for Gary Payton.
I'll tell you one thing. The comments after this game, should Seattle lose, are going to be real interesting. Because the one area they have changed and I think have grown up a lot is the area where they are not blaming each other, as was the case years ago in the Sean Kemp era. So it's going to be interesting here to see what they feel is going to be the thing to get them through the next game if they lose this one. Even after game 2, there were some comments out of the locker room that Payton took too many shots. He had 25, and the team game suffered. And there's a violation as the handoff from Garnett to Porter.
And so the Sonics get the ball and stay alive with 80 seconds to go. Sam Perkins is going to come back in. Kersey goes out. George Karl will continue to make offensive and defensive substitutions here. Into Payton. Marbury on him defensively. Baker out deep to set a screen. Payton keeps going to the basket, lays it down to Baker, and he couldn't finish. He got fouled. He had a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play. He'll have to settle for 2 at the line.
Well, the key is forcing him to miss the shot. And then the other thing is, one of the huge questions coming into the playoffs, can Vin Baker make free throws in pressure situations? He's struggled all year long.
16 and 11 the numbers for Baker tonight. That was his first free throw.
And he misses that one. Shooting 59% on the season, but a lot worse than that down the stretch as Seattle struggled a little bit closing out the season.
Kersey in, Perkins out. The entire Seattle team was crashing the boards on that free throw attempt.
Does that mean they didn't think he was going to make that one? I don't know. I haven't seen him hit the boards that hard the whole game. It's a full timeout. They just used their 20.
Yes, indeed. And so they will have to use a full timeout here with 1:12 to go. 8 is the difference. We'll be back.
Matt, got your email. Vancouver? Genius. Passed it on to Epps. He's running it through the Northwest.
Hey, Matt. Ideas a hit in the Northwest. I've got purchasing checking suppliers.
You want it up top. Client briefing. Your Vancouver idea.
Want to take your business to the next level?
Carl Malone. Mailman. It's been a long time.
Whoa! Mailman! You grew hair!
That's right. Couldn't have done it without my Rogaine.
The new Rogaine Extra Strength for Men. It's concentrated. It gets more to the root to grow 45% more hair than the original.
Nice rebound.
Carl, sign my Rogaine?
The new Rogaine. 45% more hair.
It delivers for me.
The NBA playoffs on TBS, brought to you by Original Coors. There's only one mile-high taste. Coors, the original. By the new Dodge. From cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge. By your local AutoZone stores. For the right parts at the right price, look no further than AutoZone. And by Nike.
Not much doing outside because everybody is inside the Target Center. And there you can see the series in the West. Utah and Houston tied up. Phoenix fighting for their life. The Lakers are leading the game tonight. You'll be able to catch that on TNT just a little bit after this one is over. Stay with us here for another 1:12 because the Sonics are still breathing, but barely.
Something about having the ball in Marbury's hand down the stretch makes you feel pretty good if you flip Sonics. He started the offense.
Porter's going to take it. front rims it. Shrimp is there for the miss, and the Sonics are not out of this net yet, but they need a 3.
Well, good use of the clock, though, by Minnesota. Didn't make the shot, but they used a lot of time.
Shrimp skips it. Kersey, no. And that goes out of bounds off Marbury with 32.7 on the clock. But the Sonics are in miracle land right now.
George Karl getting another 3-point shooter in. He thinks had that been Perkins in the corner, he might have been able to nail that one. And the Sonics throw away another one. Now you have to foul.
Marbury is hit by Payton. And Payton back in the face of Joe Crawford again.
One thing for sure, the officials have not been a factor in this game.
No.
It has been all Minnesota. And Payton upset on that call, but I think Minnesota is who he should be upset with because they played a great game here tonight.
Stephon Marbury looks to add to his totals. The Timberwolves just 22.7 seconds away from going up 2-1 in this series, and will have a chance here Thursday night to send the Sonics home for the summer.
Tell you what, you look at shooting the basketball for both Marbury and Garnett, and it's not been a great night for either of those guys. It is such a credit to this Minnesota team that they're able to win this game the way they have with those two guys not shooting it all that well.
T-Wolves let Payton go to the basket. He picks up 2 to make it a 7-point game, and then Payton quickly picks up the foul on Sam Mitchell with 14 seconds left.
Stephon Marbury following right behind Payton as he committed the hard foul. And while he might not have said anything verbally, that smile on his face and the clapping of the hands and earshot of Payton delivered the message.
Flip-Saunders trying to actually keep a little bit of a lid on the emotion about Stephon Marbury right now on the court.
He's telling them to settle down. It's not over. The game might be over, but this series is not over. So don't do anything that's going to fire up the other team. Kevin McHale has to be proud.
I was just going to hit. That's a look of pride right there on his face.
Yeah, he has built this ball club to where it is right now, and he is definitely psyched about what they've been able to do here.
Payton takes it to the basket. Unmolested layup. They get it into Porter. Perkins reached for him. It is over in Minnesota. A remarkable win for the young Timberwolves. They have waited a long time for this in Minnesota. Let's check in with Mark Zumoff. Hey, dog, you got it.
Stephon Marbury, for a long time, winning the championship in New York City at Lincoln High was a high point for you, for your family. How does that compare now?
I mean, right now, I'm playing for the finals the way I feel. We coming out right now, we playing hard. We showing a lot of guts, a lot of character. Coach doing a great job as far as coaching, getting everybody together in the huddles. And those are the things that's important that people don't know in the huddle when things get bad. And right now, we coming out, we performing.
What was the huddle like early in the third? You seemed to lose some focus.
I mean, we lost our focus, but we got our concentration right back, and we came back, and we did it. I want to say what's up to my man Dre. I love you, baby.
Kevin Garnett, most of the rest of the country is surprised at what you're doing. Are you?
No, I'm not surprised. You know, Flip gave us a game plan. We came out and we ran it. You know, we've always been a confident team, with or without Tommy.
Have you seen Seattle's best?
I don't know. I think that right now they're against the wall. So this fourth game is a do or die. do or die, baby. Either they beat us or they go home.
Please tell the rest of the country I know that dog is good.
Dog is real good. It's my dog right here.
Guys, you got it.
He is going to be hard to deal with, man, the next couple of days.
Zumov's going to be hanging out with those guys for the next couple of days. I can see that one coming. Terrific effort here by this young Minnesota Timberwolves club. Once again, that final score, 98-90 for Mark Zumov and Jack Gibbons. I'm Mike Gorman. Let's send it back now to the studios and Ernie Johnson. Ernie.
All right, thank you, Mike. The first round, always a minefield for Seattle. They fall down 2-1 to Minnesota, 98-90. Meantime, right now on TNT, you can click over and watch the third period, 58-56. The Lakers trying to sweep Portland. They near the midway point of the third period at the Rose Garden. Earlier tonight in the Eastern Conference, Miami has taken a 2-1 lead over the Knicks. Vashawn Leonard had 28, and the Knicks fall at home. They'll play Thursday in Game 4, trying to stay alive and send it back to Miami. The Atlanta Hawks avoided a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Charlotte Hornets. Big time, 96-64. Atlanta wins at the Georgia Dome. And for the Hornets, that ties an NBA playoff low, the record of 64 points. And they'll play Game 4 in that series on Friday in Atlanta. Coming up on TNT at the end of the night, inside the NBA, all the highlights, all the post-game reaction. You join Vince Cellini, your host, who is joined tonight by the Clippers, Ike Austin. Tomorrow night, 3 more games on Turner Sports. On TNT, the Bulls and the Nets, followed by the Jazz and the Rockets. Get a load of that. And on TBS, it's the Suns and the Spurs as San Antonio tries to close out Phoenix. So for Kenny Smith and for Muggsy Bogues and for the best studio crew in the biz, I mean that, Ernie Johnson, good night from Atlanta.
The precinct.